Hello, I do analysis and data frequency to keep it compatible to the data at the Apple stores and payphones and landline phones. Yes, this is a multiverse first aid theory. You can get it at a Methodist store. I really wasn't a candidate of anything, but I applied myself to Harvard Public Health, and it wasn't a debate because I thought there'd be more accuracy in mathematics of statistics. Instead, I got the odd numbers of astrophysics. There's no accuracy. The fraction of 5 times 5, 2 times 2 would equal 5. Or 2 plus 2 would equal 5 in timetables. Instead of math, it's astrophysics. I had to change my playground. Places and things will not change. Even in the multiverse, this is a blessing in disguise. The translation, see, what happened was there was a theory of eczema. It was an old diagnosis in 1900s. It's 100 years ago. Titanic, when the Titanic sank. It's over Jurassic. Jurassic Park was a movie about dinosaurs. It's in the museum. When I said it's over Jurassic, that means it's near the amberfly. If the Lord of the Rings call it weed, that's an amberfly known as allergy. That is what the scientists have called it. It's in the museums. They're smoking museum. Drug facts. It's in your deodorant when you buy it at the pharmacy. It's over the counter. Eczema was a condition known as the bleeds. It's from True Blood. True Blood discovered a jungle 3 million years ago. It's from the museums. Sunburns, walking in daylight of sunburns, walking in the sun. This happened to True Blood. They have an iron deficiency, abnormal iron deficiency. They are born this way. It is known as a disease. There is no recovery. It's permanent. The translation of syndrome, Down syndrome, means that you are born with a disease caused from your parents' chromosomes, known as hereditary inheritance of disease, such as a heart disease that is Down syndrome from the chromosomes of your parents. Your most ancestry dynasty will inherit you with these disease known as a heart disease. But this happened on True Blood, walking in daylight. They got hurt. This happened to Men in Black. This happens to the work environment. One work injury will trigger a disease. The translation is syndrome, which is known as a condition. It is not the work environment of which you have become, because that is not the work environment you are in. I've worked with so many corporate fish. The first thing I worried about in the food industry of a restaurant was Yum Brand. The first concern was work industry. There is lesions out of I am from Legion, where people are coming up with symptoms and there's no treatment. We don't know the root of the cause, except for a disease. It means you're born. A bacterial infection can be treated with an antibiotic. I cannot give a prescription. I'm an analyst. Due to the data strains of the internet, that includes GameStop. It's just data. Everything else was a Nazi theory. This is when your soft tissue and your bones become vulnerable through the symptoms of eczema. internal bleeding, hemorrhaging from your arms or your legs or your organs, such as your heart. An abscess can be in the teeth, the jaw, or the muscle bones. The joint was known as a muscle around your bones. So pretty much it's head, knees, and toes, shoulders, and toes too. And it's around the ears, a bunch of muscle. That's what cartilage was, a bunch of muscles. To use an MRI, you have to go to orthodontics. That's in ancient Egypt, Georgia floor line. Atlantis is known as Georgia University in Hollywood. It's all throughout California, CA. Has abbreviations in it and reminders. A charisma will give you drug facts.
Eczema, causes, treatment and damp. SYMPTOMSHTTPS, my.clevelandclinic.org, diseases 9998 eczema. October 28, 2020, eczema is a condition that causes your skin to become dry, red, itchy and bumpy. It's one of many types of walking in the sun, sunburns. The association of fibrous dysplasia and intramuscular myxoma is a rare disease known as Mazabraud syndrome. Both lesions tend to occur in the same anatomical region. The relationship between fibrous dysplasia and myxoma remains unclear, where an underlying localized error in tissue metabolism has been proposed to explain this occasional coexistence. Another example of this syndrome in a 52-year-old woman is reported. The patient presented with a soft tissue mass at the anteromedial mid-part of the left thigh. After excision of the mass, 3 separate bone lesions were detected in her control MRI. The soft tissue mass was misdiagnosed as liposarcoma in another center, and the bone lesions were interpreted as metastasis. The hypocellularity and the indistinct vascular pattern of the lesion were consistent with myxoma. The Jam-Shidi needle biopsies of the osseous lesions were diagnosed as fibrous dysplasia. The recognition of this entity is important for appropriate management of the patient. Patients with soft tissue myxomas should be thoroughly examined for fibrous dysplasia. The greater risk of sarcomatous transformation in fibrous dysplasia with Mazabraud syndrome should also be kept in mind. Hematuria is internal bleeding of plasma lesion.
Alright, have a good day. That's all I got for today. And I'm mistaking it for a metabolism. You need to make sure that you are able to speak to a physician and see a physician who has a doctor's degree, a physician's degree, a medical degree, before you get a personal advice who's not an advisor about your metabolism on underweight and losing weight, because it could be a walking heart attack or a stroke. A heat stroke can happen any time of the year, even through hyperthermia. It can happen in the summertime, except for it's on the opposite side. It is overheated. Your body might be overheated. It is still considered hyperthermia. Hyperthermia can cause the symptoms and have the symptoms of hypertension. That's when your pulse hurts, and you have a high pulse and a low heartbeat. That will cause a heat stroke even in women, or a mild stroke in men. You can do anything to get your heart to jump again. God bless. I'm under God's plan. This is God's services.